Stop the cap.
I am backed up. I'm sitting here looking at these videos that I haven't posted. Too many mothers. Hyksos and slavery in ancient Egypt. Heat strokes. I was doing a video on heat strokes, the difference between somebody having a heat stroke and versus somebody having rhabdomyolysis, because some people are overexerting themselves in the heat or working out too heavy. But I'm gonna get around to posting those. I just haven't gotten around. Shit just gets tied up. But this is kind of one of those ad hoc videos where literally doing research, looking at more information, and some stuff comes up in my feed, like whenever I'm on the computer and I'm trying to look up stuff, research stuff, get all these numbers, using AI, using Google, just looking up stuff in my free time, and because I can't shut my brain off. So as I'm looking up stuff, I got people's videos coming in. Usually I'll have like some lo-fi hip hop playing on in the background or something like that. And in the recommendeds was Shay Shardae's video. And there was a brother that was talking to her, and without everybody's pissing me off because nobody knows the numbers. They're just regurgitating shit that they heard in the 1990s. And when you know the numbers, it's highly irritating. So, he's up there and they're talking about black men being on the down low or something like that. And Shay Shardae appropriately responded by pointing out, like, black women are gay as fuck. Like, as a population, black women are far more gay than black men. And it's like, so I'm like, how the hell did we get the down low gay black men reputation when, again, just Google the shit. Go Google homosexuality, bisexuality, and all the other flavors of sexuality, based off of race or gender or both, and you'll see that black women far outstrip black men when it comes to, homosexuality and alternative lifestyles. But yet, black women project that shit onto us. I was listening to the guy, and Shay Shardae, I forget how she responded to him. She responded to him with something, but he was basically pretty much repeating the ABC special. There's only 3 black men for every 100 black women, which they took that video down. Somebody else wrote a comment about them scrubbing the internet. Yeah, you can't find that Martha Stewart ABC special clip on YouTube anymore. I've been looking for it, can't find it. I know I have it saved on a hard drive somewhere, but I've been looking for it, can't find it. I'm like, ain't this a bitch? Right? Because they came through. That's the one where they had the woman talking about she's a payroll specialist, and Tariq Nasheed did a hilarious response to this shit. But I'm just sitting there. He was just like, yeah. And if we subtract all the black men that are in jail, and we subtract all, which is only like 3 to 5% maximum. And he was like, if we subtract all the black men that are in jail, if you have 100 black women, and then you take out all the black men that are in jail, all the black men that are on the down low, which is like 1 to 3%, right? If you take out all the black men that are just messed up in some way, and I'm like, he hasn't mentioned not one. So we got nothing but disqualifiers for black men, but we have no disqualifiers for black women. So all 100 of the black women, are wifey material or perfect or just eligible bachelorettes, but you're just knocking off black men off of this table, just one by one, just making up shit. And this is a black dude, a little sassy, but this is a black dude. And what was I about to say about the freaking just watching this bullshit? Oh, I remember, like right off top, like I said, we got 61% of black women are mothers in the black community and 54% of black men are childless. And I'm like, how about you knock single mothers off of that? For all the childless men that are looking for women, that don't have any children, or knock off the, women that are overweight or generally unattractive, or ghetto ratchet, whatever. I mean, just nothing disqualifies them. It's just irritating, watching this shit. There was another clip of a woman. It was like on YouTube Shorts, and the woman was talking, and she was saying about how she's so successful, and there's no men on her level that make the type of money that she makes, and then she kind of like slipped up, because then she said the men that do make the money that she makes, they're not interested in her, right? And this woman was, if I recall, on the lighter skin end of the spectrum. You know what I mean? So I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, you're the quote unquote preference. Like, just listening to her talk her shit, I'm like, nah, you sound like a boss bitch that wants to fucking run shit. And then she goes into this, the men, they just don't make as much money as I make and whatnot. And maybe she's exceptional. I don't know how much money she makes. But it's silly when these women go up there and talk this shit, and then you go and you look at the median income for black women, it's like $36,000 a year, and when you look at the median income for black men, it's like $41,000, and that's like 80% of the population, like 70 to 80% of the population. Though that's your number. You know what I mean? So you get these outlier black people, I'm a level, it's like when the numbers, when you look at these clips, these people look even more ridiculous. There's more black men making $100,000 than there are black women making $100,000, and that's just at the $100,000 level. You know what I mean? There's more black men that have successful businesses that actually generate money and have employees than black women that have businesses that are successful and generate money and have employees. 95% of black women's businesses don't have any employees. Yes, they are registering a lot of businesses, but they're not making any money. If you go and you pull up the stats and numbers on what the actual figures are on black women making money versus white women making money, it's like, what are y'all doing? But then y'all come through and y'all talk shit. Like, you talk shit about how awesome you are. And it's like, but statistically speaking, in all actuality, you're not awesome like that. And it's like when people talk about, like there's this, there's this, what's the word that I'm looking for? Movement to humble black women. I'm telling you right now, 100% black women need to be humbled. Right. And I understand that black people run around and they like to big up themselves and elevate themselves, right? Because, white supremacy likes to say black people ain't shit. And then black people try to counter that and say, and have like positive, affirmation. But black women are in the realm of absolute delusion at this point. It's just straight delusional. I'm like, that's not true. That's not accurate. The complaints that are being filed, like I went back and I went and what I was doing was I was looking at that CDC, that 2015 and 2019, seeing if there was any more information like that I maybe overlooked, you know what I mean, or anything else that I could extract from that. And I was looking at the, what was I looking at? I was looking at the teen pregnancies, right? And so again, like I said before, that whole report was not about throwing black women under the bus. The whole 61% of black women are mothers and 54% of black men are childless. That was an incidental finding, that was thrown up there by Kevin Samuels. But that report really is about, it leans towards and caters to the idea that, demographically, black women and Hispanic women are doing the worst, and they have all these pregnancies when they're really young and unwanted pregnancies, and that the way that you counter that is to educate the girls, right? They need to be more educated. And so this is where you get into, despite everybody complaining about black boys are terrorizing the community and they're in gangs and they're committing crime and they're shooting each other in Chicago, there's never any discussion about increasing or elevating the number of black males, into higher education, right? Because whether black male or black female, if you're in higher education, right, and we can have another discussion about student loan debt and all that, and viable careers and everything. But if you're basically, if you have goals, and college is a goal, you're less likely to go out here and get somebody pregnant. It's the people that are at the bottom, people who are a part of multi-partner family formation, meaning they got, they don't have any real traditional patriarchal two-parent household stability. You know what I mean? They got half siblings, and dad is a Rolling Stone, and mom, she got half, you got half siblings on your dad's side, half siblings on your mom's side. It's just messy, and the kids end up falling through the cracks. And when those kids fall through the cracks, they end up, having, premarital sex at an early age because, it feels good. And then, the girl gets pregnant. The 17-year-old girl gets pregnant by her, freaking 21-year-old boyfriend. Right? This is what is going down. And what ends up happening, that further contributes to multi-partner family formation, because people who have kids at an early age, right, there's no real stability when they're getting together. They just, I like Jamal. I like Keisha. They get together, they fuck, they have a kid. And then because there's no real stability there, right, the fighting starts, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. And then they go their separate way, right? She gets custody of the kid. He immediately has to go into the workforce. Now he's paying child support. They still fighting. She goes off and fucks with another nigga that probably got a kid by somebody else, right? And this is where the majority of the kids in the black community are coming from. The majority of the kids in the black community are not coming from the educated black folks. They're statistically, number-wise, they're having the least amount of kids, and they wait much later, like in their late 20s, early 30s, before they end up having kids. Some even go beyond that, 35 up, when they start having families. They're like, I got to get my ducks in a row, got to get my stability. That takes time, at least a decade. So those people, are the outliers in the black community. And the other thing that I peeped was that 30% of, what was it? 30% of black men are married when they have their first child, which is right there with the number of black men overall that are married, which is anywhere between 33% to 36%, depending on what stat you look at. But when it comes to black women, only 18% of black women are married when they have their first child. So I'm like, wait a minute, why don't black women, the number of black women that are married is 29%. Why does it say 18%? I'm like, because we have a discrepancy. So in other words, there's a lot of black men that when the black woman, she already had her first child, she been had it because she got with, Tyrone. But the brother, there's a lot of brothers out here that they're having their first child after they get married. So in other words, they marry first and then have their first child with Keisha, who already got a kid by another nigga. That's where that discrepancy, is coming from, where 30% of black men have their first child within marriage, and 30% of black men are married, 33% of black men are married, 36%. But with black women, 18% of black women are married when they have their first child, and 29% of black women are married. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, so there's a lot of brothers that are playing and been playing that stepdaddy role. Because seriously speaking, if you're trying to keep it black in the black community, if you a childless black man and you trying to keep it black, it is more likely. You still got that 39% of black women, to choose from, right? Which again, even when you look at the raw numbers, 10.8 million versus 8.5 million. There's more childless black men in the black community than childless black women. But when you in terms of likelihood, a black man is much more likely to go out here and run into a single mom than a black woman is to go out here and run into, a single dad. We're not talking about custody. We're just talking about being a parent. The other thing, going back to the data and, the whole focus on education, this is what I don't get. Right. And this is like a sister that left a comment like a couple weeks ago. And she was like, and black men are just so terrible, and they're this and they're that, and they're all fucked up. Okay, fine. Fuck it. Let's go with that. Why are you all having niggas babies? Why? If black men are so terrible, if they're everything that you say that they are, why are you having their fucking babies? See, what it comes down to is y'all just can't control your reproduction. This is why, say everybody wants to focus on, the problem in the black community is the lack of patriarchy, and the black community is broken, and black men, they're just not out here doing, the right thing. But we cannot get black women to control their reproduction. All this is my body, my choice, and that we cannot get black women to control their reproduction. And when it comes to the, it's like goes back to the Kevin Samuels when he had that older black woman up there and the younger black woman, and the older black woman just would not acknowledge her failures. Hey, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done this. I got 2 kids by 2 different men or whatever. And young ladies, y'all don't need to be doing this. Like the shit that Six the Goddess says. They just refuse. It's like black women are not going to do anything that makes them look bad. They're not going to do anything that's going to cause them to have an inability to save face. It's got to be a black man's fault. It goes back to what Love Dorsey said. Chicks, they don't like fucking with a Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson ain't about to do no fuck shit. But you go out there and you get with, Tyronius Maximus, you get with Tyrone, you get with the D-boy, then anything that happens, if the relationship falls apart, the black woman can hide all of her inadequacies behind this nigga in the streets. And they like that. It's a form of protection. Right? So nobody examines them and what the fuck they're on. Everybody just focuses on this no good black man that's in the streets, that's breaking her and everybody else off, breaking his mom off, breaking cousins off, breaking people off and shit. But he's the big piece of shit, not her and what she's on. She can hide behind his supposed dysfunction because what he does for a living isn't wholesome. Or he got locked up and he was gone for 6 months and, shit kind of fell apart because the resources weren't there. It's the nigga's fault. It's his fault. But you cannot examine what's going on with these women. Like Dr. T. Hassan Johnson always says, we don't even have the framework for a lot of this shit. We don't even have the phrase, just like when he talks about, sexual assault of young men and boys and whatnot. We don't even have the framework of women being, perpetuating that. You know what I mean? Like you see all this shit with the white teachers and them having sex with 14-year-old boys, 27-year-old teachers and whatnot. And even the white community doesn't even know how to frame that shit. You know what I mean? It's fucked up. But anyway, getting back to first question, why are y'all having these men's babies? And the second thing is, right, it's like there's a sleight of hand that I've been peeping going on for a while when we have these conversations, because when black women enter the conversation, their entire goal is to absolve black women of all guilt, absolve black women of all wrongdoing. And here's the sleight of hand, right? So like this CDC report will say, you know, we have a lot of black teen pregnancies. 42% of black women are having babies underneath the age of 20, right? And so we need to get the girls more educated, right? And I'm saying, looking at the numbers statistically, if black women are more educated, they're less likely to be end up being a young single mother. They're just less likely. They're going to focus on their career. They're going to mature as they do that, and then they're going to be looking for a guy that's in that lane, right? At least we would think, because it's about to get more complicated. And so it's like, so what is the goal? Here's where the sleight of hand comes in. So the first part is we got to focus on the girls and get the girls more educated and put all the school programs towards focusing on the girls to get them to that next level. Okay, you've done that. Mission accomplished. Now the girls graduated college, everything else like that. Then what is the immediate next problem that comes up? There's no black men that are on her level. Where are the black men that are educated in college that are on her level? Right? That's the next conversation, which goes back to the whole topic of resources being allocated towards boys, because there's this whole like I am so sick of the black community doing this, where and black women, y'all are at the tip of the spear when it comes to this. Every time it's like black men are worse off than black girls, right? And by every standard of measure, this is what'll be said. Then when we get to black girls, it's like black girls are somehow simultaneously doing better and worse than black males because of the patriarchy, even though there is no patriarchy in the black community, right? So you say, hey, we got to focus on the boys because the boys are failing. And then the feminists will come through and they'll start screaming literally like it's 1970. Like literally, I'm like, you're bragging about, like, you have more black women that are getting, I think, masters and terminal degrees now, right? I'm like, okay, mission accomplished. And yet they will sit there and they will literally act like it's 1970 and women can't go to a bank and open up a checking account. It's like how white people try to do the whole, there's Christian persecution. I'm like, what? While you're in the burbs? While you disproportionately have all the wealth, there's Christian are you fucking kidding me? And the same thing goes for black women. They act like there's black female persecution at the same time that they want to tell you about how they're going to the moon and back, doing laps around the rings of Saturn, right? Going out there by the freaking damn Kuiper belt, and black men, they haven't even been able to get their rocket all out of that Earth's atmosphere, right? But then when you say, okay, we need to focus on how dare you? Title IV. These resources need to be equal across the board. They start making that type of argument. But then when we get to the black women, ain't nobody on my level. I'm like, well, why would there be anybody on your level since you don't want to focus on the boys, right? It's like that joke when people talk about, like, you go to the doctor and you got a broken arm and the doctor's like, let me check your head. It's like, hey, doc, it's my arm. My arm is broken. The bone is sticking, out of my forearm. Like, doc, look at my arm, right? And then the doc's like, oh, let me check your feet. Doc, it's my arm. You know what I mean? And literally, that's what it's like dealing with the situation in the black community. Hey, if everybody wants to say the boys ain't shit, can we focus and allocate resources on the boys? Can't do that. Can't do that. Aside from even the more complicated issue, the fact that training boys, when you want to talk about hypergamy and you want to talk about all the other fields and trades and everything, boys cost substantially more to train than girls. It's not a matter of sexism. If I'm going to have an auto mechanic shop, I got to get the car, I got to get the tools, right? I got to dispose of oil and lubricants and all of the type of shit. right? I got to have spare parts, right? We're not just talking about going off and getting girls a laptop so that they can learn how to write code or something like that. Right, like if I'm teaching electrical engineering and I got Captain Solo teaching the boys electrical, and again tools, everybody has to have a what do you call that, a ohms meter, right? You know, they got to have your testers and all this other. They got to have a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like a whole bunch of shit that you would get from like Harbor Freight. They got to have all that stuff, right? They got to go out into the field, right? You gotta transport them, right? So you gotta have a bus or a van. You're burning up gas. All this shit that is necessary to train boys cost more than it is to train girls, because boys and girls typically don't do the same. They don't even go into the same type of fields. We shouldn't just have, everybody just go to college and we got no tradesmen in the black community. So it's going to cost more to train the boys. But again, we can't have these conversations, right? And then here's the stupid part, right? What is the point of like, so you start off with we got to educate the girls to prevent them from getting pregnant. Okay, fine. Then the girls get educated and then ain't nobody on my level. Okay, what is the point of training the boys to be on your level or above, right? Mind you, right? Again, when we talk about, the men that are making, whether it's average pay or whether it's, the median pay is more than black women, and even at the higher levels, the pay is more than black women, right? But we're still having these conversations about how much more educated the black women are, blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying, why do boys need to be educated, right? If at the end of the day, black women are not going to follow, if their intent is to not follow, right? If anything, I already know what it is. I know what the answer is, because the answer is to have a group of black men that have enough resources where they can substantially contribute to the foundation that the black woman has already established. And one of the primary reasons why, the focus isn't on the boys in the black community is because black women do not want the dynamic of the quote unquote patriarchy to resurface. They do not want a situation where the men are collectively ahead of the women. So why are we having these conversations? Why is that even a talking point if at the end of the day, black women don't really want it? They don't want it and everything that comes with it. They don't want it. They say that they do. I mean, it's a nice defense to bitch about it and, they're not on my level, but you don't really want them on your level. You don't want them on your level. Cap sent me another video of some, sister and she hit it. She said basically the same thing as the Legion Miller. Like, you all can't be patriarchs. Now, Legion Miller, she was talking about white men, but this sister, she was talking about black men, even though the video started off being about some white comedian. But anyway, she brought up, black men. And brought up how white men aren't going to they don't allow us to basically to function as patriarchs, and so therefore why are we even focused on that? And I'm like, but yet we have conversations about and I don't want to conflate women, but I'm saying every time the black relationship topic comes up, the women are acting like they're so much better than black men. Black men are just so beneath them. And the only reason they're single is because there's no men on their level. And we never get to have the conversations about, okay, well, what happens when I'm not saying that these men are everywhere, but what happens when you come across these men, the men that you went to school with, the men that are doing better than you, what happens? We never get to have that conversation. And again, like Ashley Acuna said, the type of men I'm attracted to, I don't see in corporate America. Yeah, and that's another thing. Because a lot of the black men that would be your counterparts, you're simply not attracted to. Which is fine. But I'm saying own that if you're not attracted to them. If you're not attracted to, the Poindexters or the black men that don't have that street edge, y'all need to own that, and y'all don't own that. So again, like people come at me and they're like I remember, like folks would be like, SWP, you don't come up with solutions. What is your solutions? There is no solution when the solution is not what people actually want. In other words, people are not being genuine. The women are not being genuine about what they want. What they really want is they want beta male simps that have money and resources that don't assert their dominance or try to establish patriarchy in the black community. And I see like even the other black woman that did the video that I was talking about, where she was addressing the comedian. Like she said, like every time I hear, it's like somebody scratching a chalkboard. Every time I hear a woman say the patriarchy, that shit is thrown around so much. The patriarchy. The problem is the patriarchy. Even in that white nationalist video that I just posted on my community tab, the white I don't even know if he's an ex-Christian. I think he's a Christian, but he just doesn't believe with what the type of Christianity that's going on with the Trumpsters and shit like that. But he kept bringing up patriarchy and misogyny and all this other shit. And I'm like, yo, I'm so sick of people throwing around patriarchy like it's just some sort of abstraction, like there aren't real, like real tangible things in there. Like primary example, and I was just explaining this shit to some white woman that she asked me a question. She was like, you sound like you like basically I think a lot. And she was asking me questions about relationships. She was slightly older. And she asked me, about why do men like treat each other the way that they do? And she was like, it's nice hearing a man say that or acknowledge that men are shitty towards each other. I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. I was like, men do a lot of the things that they do in order to gain reproductive access to women. Because you all, as Rich Cooper would say, stand at the finish line and look for the winners. You know what I mean? So as a man, the reality is while you'll sit there and you'll bitch about the crime and the violence and all the terrible things men do to each other and, patriarchy versus patriarchy, women only want the top 10% of men that actually have material wealth. And they don't care where you get your money from. They just want to know, do you have it? They don't care where you get your resources from or how you get your resources. They just want to know, do you have it? And then if you have it, then they bust it wide open because they want to be a part of that. But then we get into this goofiness where they want access to the resources, right? But they don't like the fact that they have to negotiate, right, the relationship dynamics with a man in order to get access to the resources. So now the whole goal is to get access to the resources without having to interact with men. This is what feminism is. It's female supremacy. And it's not, it's 1970s and we want equality because women couldn't do X, Y, and Z. No. They hide the shit underneath the guise of equality, but it ain't equality. And then you got all these who's the white guy? The fucking Reeves something. I was watching a clip of him. He's up there talking some bullshit about, patriarchy helps men. Bullshit. The fuck it does help men. Talking about, it gives men guidance and everything. I'm like, see, basically society, the institutions, as I've said before, and women are trying to they want to eliminate patriarchy, eliminate the reward system, eliminate the respect, eliminate the resources, the compensation, right? The all the pomp and circumstance that make men proud of what the fuck they do. They want to eliminate that because that creates hierarchies, right? That creates hierarchies. Again, going back to, freaking Colonel Jessup and A Few Good Men, I neither have the time nor the inclination to explain myself to someone who rises and sleeps underneath the very freedom which I provide and then questions me about the manner in which I provide it. That's a very powerful statement, right? Because it's as he says, he's like, He was like, what did he say? Something like, I would rather you say thank you and be on your way, right? Like if you're not going to pick up a rifle, right? Like, in other words, I'm in the trenches. You don't get to talk shit when I'm out here doing for you. And so what black women are trying to do is they're trying to create, and white women as well, some white women that are doing this to white men as well, this whole, like, trying to create an IOU. Like black, like with black men, it's like, well, you all lost the race war, white supremacy has their knee on our neck, and white supremacy is doing all this shit to us, and black women have suffered underneath your failure, so therefore you owe us like back taxes, you owe us, restitution for all of this. So anything you do as a black man, now is in debt to black women. It's not, you're not doing it and then you're going to get reciprocity from black women. You're doing it because you owe black women, and you are to serve the queen and to serve the beehive, right? That is what you are to do. You are to be a slave to black women. You see? And it is slavery. Like, it's like women sit there and they talk about, oh, this is slavery. It's like, chick, you seek to benefit. You just don't get to call the shots. Where what men are being requested to do is essentially enslave themselves to women. Right? This is where the simping shit comes in, where you do for women and you are not to expect anything in return. And that's where the women want men to be. Right? Eliminate the hierarchy, eliminate the patriarchy, eliminate all the things that men desire, and then still expect men to be productive for women and society. And they really do think that they're going to get productivity out of that. And then they try to shame men, try to hit you with white Jesus, and try to hit you with, ideas and concepts. The far right is stuck there. The far right, and only the young white men are pushing back. Because the boomers and the Gen Xers, they up there still talking about my bootstraps and hard work. You see their videos every once in a while, especially if they're religious, right? They start trying to hit you with the, faith without works is dead type of shit and everything. And it's all sucker shit. It's all shit to get you into a belief system to where you believe that you are supposed to sacrifice yourself as a man. You're supposed to fall on the sword, right? If for everybody else's benefit except your own. And that's where we are. I know that the white community, their shit is slightly different than ours, but overall, is generally speaking, there's a lot of similarities. In terms of like what Western women are trying to do. Black women, they get to fall on, slavery and Jim Crow and white supremacy and the way that we've been marginalized, right? And then white women just take all the black stuff out, and then white women are just bitching and then claiming that it's 1970 and that they're still oppressed, right? When I'm like, bitch, you sleep next to power. You know what I mean? Like everything that every rape, pillage, and plunder the white man has done, he has shared it with you. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So like this is literally, where we are, in this conversation. I'm like, so really the focus is not on getting black boys to any particular point. And then they want to keep it in a situation. I swear it's like black women to me are like Fox News, where it's like they want to like that white boy I told you about years ago, the one that was like, my father says the problem with the black community is that the black community doesn't do for self. Right. And I was like, you know what? You're 100% right. In the black community, right? That's why we need black grocery stores. We need black supermarkets and black hospitals and black police departments and, black schools and everything. And he was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I was like, what's the problem? That sounds like reverse racism. So they want to keep you in this state of limbo where they want to criticize you for not bettering yourself. And then as soon as you try to better yourself, then they're going to bitch about that, right? So white supremacy, you black people, you need to fix your own situation. Then when black people focus on themselves, it's reverse racism. Black women, black men, you need to better yourself. And then when black men try to better themselves, what's the problem? This is patriarchy and misogyny and the oppression of women. I'm like, man, fuck all of y'all. I mean, seriously, fuck all of y'all. Y'all can go to hell. Fuck all of y'all. You know, and it just, I mean, the more I look at this shit. I mean, just watch these women do it. I still see videos about Ebony K. Williams, I had to go and get in vitro fertilization as the light skin preference. Like there ain't a bunch of niggas sitting around that wouldn't have got with Ebony K. Williams. No, the problem with Ebony K. Williams was her fucking attitude. That's what her problem was. Ebony K. Williams wasn't about to follow nobody. How do we know this? Because Ebony K. Williams was already over the fence. Right? Ebony K. Williams getting invited to 2-week vacations in the south of France. See, and every time somebody does an interview, I swear to God, if I could jump through the computer screen, I don't care who the fuck it is. The next nigga that interviews Ebony K. Williams, you better ask her about what was up with the south of France. What do you mean you going? Ebony K. Williams is going to be in L.A. Ebony K. Williams is going to be at the lawyers conference in Florida. If you niggas don't fucking press her on that shit, I swear to God, I'm going to jump through the goddamn computer screen. Y'all want to talk about everything else but that. I'm like, that is the most important piece. We up here talking about motherfucking bus drivers and dusties and no. I wouldn't lie to you, Charlemagne. You said south of France. Who the fuck invited you to south of France and you turned that shit down? But yet we're over here talking about whether you should date truck drivers or not. Clearly the nigga that was offering 2-week vacations to the south of France wasn't a fucking truck driver. But yet you turned it the fuck down. Why did she turn it down? Because Ebony K. Williams was too busy being a boss bitch that had better fucking things to do. But see, the problem is we don't get to hear about those stories. We only get to hear about bus drivers and dustiness and niggas in jail and shit like that. We don't get to hear about how these women are turning down men that are ahead of them because they don't like the motherfucking power dynamic. And y'all niggas, y'all drop the ball every time you interview one of these successful women. Every fucking time on every clip on fucking YouTube, y'all drop the ball. Y'all start getting into dumb shit because many of you all are so afraid of saying, yes, the money is important and yes, you have to be financially ahead of the woman. Period. Y'all niggas won't fucking say it, which is why these women get away with the fucking murder that they do. That shit is pissing me the fuck off. Y'all do not press these women properly when you interview them. And these are women that are known for talking just bullshit. And what needs to be exposed is the fact that these women, all they want to do is talk to anybody on my level. Well, what happens when you come across men that aren't on your level? I know that you've come across guys that are, and what you're going to hear is either they were too arrogant, some dismissive bullshit, or you're going to hear her basically try to weasel out of the fact that she was avoiding him because she didn't like the power dynamic. That's what needs to be. I mean, I'm talking full court motherfucking press. Y'all niggas keep failing on that shit. That shit is burning me up. But like people come at me, there's a solution. There's no solution. There's no solution. Because what I'm not going to do as a black man is I'm not going to, everything with the exception. Until you all win a race war, you all need to sell your manhood to us at a discount. No, this is exactly why a lot of black men are going over the fence. This has nothing to do with And then this rolls right into the shit I talk about. It's why I try to get you brothers to acknowledge the beauty and move the fuck on. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in the beauty conversation and, is it colorism? Is it not colorism? Is it colorism? Is it not colorism? And you can't move the conversation forward and get to the part about the fucking attitude and them not wanting to get with the program. Because that is the primary reason why these black relationships ain't fucking working. Because these women, they ain't gonna follow anybody. I don't have to worry about it, sisters. If black woman goes up there and talks about the patriarchy, I ain't gotta worry about her threats about how she's gonna go over the fence. Because it's only a matter of time before she shows her attitude and she's going to be summarily dismissed by those other races of men. They don't put up with that shit. You know what I mean? She don't have any Afro-Asiatic king, hotepetry, original man status bullshit to try to pull from and try to shame black men with. That's why the primary reason why a lot of these women want to deal with black men, aside from physical attraction, because they're attracted to the ideas and the concepts of hypermasculinity, especially when it comes to dark-skinned men, but also because a lot of the black woman tricks only work on black men. They don't work on other races of men. A woman can't sit there and talk about how she's a high priestess, hoteptress, original woman status. No white man cares about some black woman's original woman status. But you got a lot of, hoteps and magical niggas in the black community, you know what I mean? That they engage in that bullshit. And they try to, they play off of each other with all that Dr. Umar Johnson word play. My beautiful melanated mahogany queen, all that bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a bunch of man stroking and woman stroking. Two people trying to manipulate each other with words and shit. Use words as opposed to actually doing any real work, and any real reciprocity. This shit is, it's just fucked up just looking at it. Especially when, like I said, the damn numbers. When people are sitting there regurgitating bullshit. Just talk about, and then black men, and they got kids all over them. No, actually, you all have way more kids than we got. Way more kids than we got. 13.4 million mothers to 9.2 million fathers. That's a 4.2 million parent gap. Get the fuck out of here with the niggas got kids all over the world. No, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It is crazy. You even got childless women that try to jump in on that bullshit. I'm like, you don't even have kids. Why are you defending this chick? Why are you defending this woman and her bullshit? Because that's that sisterhood bullshit. But I just had to get this shit off my chest. My voice is still, fucked up, which is why I've tried to chill making videos, because it's in between my yelling and sleeping with the damn fan blowing in my face. It should be fucking up my voice. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch on. But yeah, that's what enrages me. It's the whole aspect of how much you can't fix it, because this shit is cultural at this point. You know what I mean? I seriously do hate the culture. I hate the culture. I hate the belief systems. I hate the fact that so many black women have the wrong orientation. They really literally do think that they're supposed to be in charge and that they're supposed to run shit, because we done had, multiple generations of, single mothers. And all they saw was single mothers running shit. And same thing with the boys. They saw single mothers running shit. The mistake that a lot of black women make is they think that young black men, because they grew up in a single mother home or they saw a mom running, that they want that for themselves. They somehow think like y'all really do believe that black men love the way that black women do things. You know what I mean? They do not. They do not. And again, black men definitely made the mistake, of thinking that, y'all wanted, patriarchy and all that, right? When clearly you value your individual personal autonomy more than you value, quote unquote, the patriarchy, even if you were set to benefit. Going back to that whole conversation about pedestal oppression, you want black men to build you a pedestal and then you control the pedestal that they build. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. When it comes to patriarchy, there is an exchange. But when y'all talk about matriarchy, it's literally just men serve the queen and they don't get nothing out of it. They're literally slapped with the same exact responsibilities that they would have underneath patriarchy. They just don't have any control. I'm like, you're not going to keep men motivated with that shit. And then when the men aren't motivated, you make it like, oh, there's something wrong with them, as opposed to them not being motivated. It's just like the shit with the young white men. I just said there's a video clip of a white guy. He lays the shit out. Where bottom line, he's like, like you don't have. We're not connected into the society. You want young white men to go off to war to Ukraine and Israel and in Gaza and all this other shit and go to Taiwan and whatnot, and you got young white men, no girlfriend, no house, no a job with full medical and dental and benefits, none of that shit, and you expect them to be patriotic. Like, get the fuck out of here. And the same thing applies. You want black men to be all whoop-de-whoop black women and we down for the black community and all this other stuff, and they don't get nothing but a bunch of attitude and resistance and lack of cooperation. That shit is fucked up. I mean, all you got to do, when you sit there and think, oh, when your mama was black and you grew up with a single mother, go watch that video of that the young man when he was in the car and his mom was talking about, I said do Biden. And he was like, I will never do this again. He in the back seat. I'm talking about, I will never do this again. And then you got the Lando Collins, and his brother, when they got signed to Crimson, what was it, Alabama and LSU, and the moms and how the mother was acting, and then who was the other boy? It was another basketball player. His mom, she had dark skinned lady with the dreads, and she just got up and walked off, and the boy was so hurt. You know what I mean? Like, and then you wonder why these white girls are sitting next to them, when they get drafted to the pros. You wonder why they got Becky on their arm and not Keisha on their arm. Becky ain't stressing them. Becky ain't being uncooperative. Becky fakes it till she makes it. But sisters, y'all really, really, truly believe that you all are like supposed to be running shit and that you're better versions of men than black men. Like, a lot of y'all really believe that. Again, if I posted some of them old videos, where that 22-year-old chick was talking about a black man can't do anything without the strength of a black woman. Like, listen to all the shit that I'm saying, all the examples I'm giving. And then y'all got the audacity to sit there and act like, why don't black men have this strong, love and adoration for black women that emanates from our chest, with so much force and power and emphasis that the whole world recognizes it and feels it. Like, y'all don't even consider how you treat black men and interact with black men. Or where you all go out there and you literally get with the most toxic type of black man that you can possibly get with. You know what I mean? And it's like I was watching some clip of some dude who was on Instagram. I don't know whether it was fake or not, but the dude was recording this girl. The dude died. Her boyfriend died. She's been with another nigga for like I don't know if it was 3 years or 3 months. But she was with this other dude, and he was like, yo, that dude used to beat your ass. But she was over there crying, and he felt some type of way about the shit. Like, damn, you crying, this nigga dead. You crying over this nigga did you dirty so many times, and here I am, being like, dun, 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 with the cape on and everything. Nah, like you can't, brothers, I'm telling you, you cannot force, women to like you like that. If they just don't, if you're not their type of nigga, there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? Like that whole trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Which is another reason why some sisters just need to shut up, because I'm like, you're mad because you're seeing like an eligible black man go off somewhere and take his resources over the fence or whatever, but you really don't want that brother. You don't want that brother. You don't want that brother, just like a colorist black man doesn't want a dark-skinned black woman. You don't want him. But again, because like so many black men going over the fence really makes it, I imagine that it is a fucked up feeling when you all as black women walk into a room that's filled with other races of women, and even they know that your men don't fuck with you like that. Because when you, like, in the grand scheme of things, yes, there's women, they know that colorism exists and there's self-hating black men. But in the grand scheme of things, the world definitely low-key sides with black men. And it's kind of a nasty way to put it, but sides with black men on recognizing that black women do have an attitude problem. They do reckon. You got that German chick recently, and she's been putting out videos for a while about, just how to treat a man and all this other bullshit. But her video blew up. I don't know why it blew up, because she ain't said nothing that she hasn't been saying for years. That German chick that's married to the African American brother, she been putting out content for years. I'm like, literally the same message. But for some reason, this particular video about how easy it is for other women to come into the black community and just scoop up, the most eligible black men, hit a nerve, right? And everybody's going crazy. I've seen a couple videos. There was one video in particular where one sister was like, no lies detected, But she's not one of these. She's not on what many of these other women are on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there aren't women like, was it Reva TV and Shay Sharday and some of these other women that are, Six to God, or some of these other women that are pushing back. But I'm saying culturally speaking, the community is filled with just these feminists, mileage may vary, but these feminists, that, they either hate men or they just like, it's just, I gotta say this, it's just so weird, this whole, like, I don't think highly of black men, but I still want to be with one. Like, I cannot wrap my head around sisters when it comes to that. Like, if I don't like black women, if I don't have anything positive to say about black women or any particular group or whatever, I'm not gonna fuck with them. I'm not trying to get them to fuck. I don't understand the whole looking at somebody and saying to yourself they're beneath you and then actually wanting to be with them in the long term. Right? Like, if a colorist, he sees a black chick, he's like, oh, I don't usually date dark-skinned women. Oh, but she got a fat ass though, so we could fuck. Like I get what he's not trying to marry her, he's just trying to fuck, right? But y'all will sit there and you will be like, I want my black kings, but you don't think, you literally don't think that black men are better than the dirt underneath your shoes. I don't get that. I don't understand that. And then you get mad. Like you're projecting that out there into the world, and then you get mad when nigga don't fuck with you. This is the same shit that happened with Jamila Lemieux. I'm like, bitch, you're writing articles that start off the damn paragraph with, I'll have you know that I'm an unapologetic staunch feminist. Like, you might as well you just spraying man repellent all over the place. And what happened with Jamila Lemieux? The nigga that she was with, that she got pregnant by, left her and went and married another black woman, and then they went off and had a family together. I mean, that's just got to be the worst, because you can't be like, oh, that nigga was just in the streets. He's for the streets. He was just, no, he left you and married another bitch. That's how serious the nigga was about being married. Unfortunately for him, he found out too late that purple-haired Jamila Lemieux was on some other shit. Just crazy. You know what I mean? And I really have no sympathy for any of these light-skinned women, that they're running around with their light-skinned privilege and the leverage that they got because there are colorist men out there, and they go off and decide, I'm going to go and be like, I'm just going to basically be anti-male. I'm like, and the funny thing about them, like the Ebony K. Williams and the Jamila Lemieux and even Melissa Ford. The funny thing about them is like the beauty about the light-skinned women is it really highlights just how much it's their attitudes. Because it's like, okay, chick, you got the colorism leverage, right? Y'all just so happen to look good. You know what I mean? So why are y'all single? It's your mindset. It ain't got nothing to do with your looks. With a dark-skinned chick, you're gonna have a fight with her. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to fight through that because too many men out here don't want to acknowledge the beauty, and they want to. You're trying to force us to do. I'm like, this is why we can never have that conversation. Because you won't sit there and acknowledge when the bitch looks good and move the fuck on and be like, now let's talk about that attitude. Let's talk about that attitude that you got. Let's talk about the whole, he's going to have his house and I'm going to have my house. Like that girl said on, what's his face, episode 57 of We Need to Talk. See, I even know the episodes. Oh, I got the receipts on receipts on receipts. It was episode 57, and I also think it was episode, I want to say 23. But anyway, yeah, the girl up there talking about, well, I'm going to have my house and he going to have his house. I'm like, how the fuck is that? That's a couple? That's what you call? Like her whole thing was, I got to have my own. I got to have my own. And the thing is here's the crazy part. Like, as much as women talk about, they got to have their own and all this other shit. I'm like, you do realize that, like, technically speaking, y'all pick the dude, or you accept the men that are attracted to you. Like, out of all the men that are attracted to you, you get to decide what nigga you gonna fuck with. And I'm like, and y'all don't have any filter. Like, y'all don't have no filter on the shit. Like, hey, this is a decent dude. And look, every relationship is not gonna work. You can get with a decent dude and it doesn't work out, right? That doesn't mean that he's terrible. Doesn't mean that you're terrible. It just means, y'all chemistry wasn't 100%. I mean, that's another thing I can't stand when women always try to act like, every time something falls apart, like that it's got to be like, he is Satan incarnate. Like, get the fuck out of here. But nah, y'all, there's no solution. And I hate saying that because I know what that really means. You know what I mean? Like, it's already like the trajectory of black men, like just writing sisters, that shit is going up. It's going up. I guarantee you that the whole black men marrying outside the race is at 24% for newlyweds right now. I'm predicting it will hit 30%. It will hit 30% by, I don't know, probably the end of the decade. That's my prediction. Write that down. Put that one in your notes. SWP says that by 2030, 30% of black men will be newlyweds will be marrying outside the race. So It's fucked up. And you know what I hate about it? I hate the fact that you got all these young black women that are on the come up. They're new to the world. They're new to, they're turning, women turning 18 every day. And they're walking into this, and again, a lot of this is cultural. A lot of them, I mean, you got the ones that aren't like that, but then they gotta wear carry the reputation of black women as a collective. They're in the minority, just like ELs are in the minority, right? They got to carry that with them, and then the fact that you have women that they think that their orientation is so right. You know what I mean? Like they'll literally sit there and look at a dude that has his shit together and look at him like horns are growing out of his forehead or something because he's not recognizing her or getting with her program. Like he's looking at him like he's crazy because he won't move into her shit. Right? Like it's like, it just that just blows my mind that's how bad the wrong orientation is. Because and I've come across these women. I've come across these black women that, like black women that are attracted to you. And I'm sure some of you brothers have experienced this. You have a black woman, she's attracted to you. And she doesn't even know how to, like you're normal, but she don't even know how to interact with you because, she came from like multi-generational matriarchs. And she thinks that her having this like harsh masculine exterior and trying to there's nothing more offensive to me than when a black woman is just off the rip like acting like she's trying to give you guidance. You know what I mean? Like bitch, who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you? And especially if you're more accomplished than she is, but she just assumes I could take you to higher levels. It's like, but chick, you can't even get to this level. And you talking about taking a nigga to higher level, huh? Based off of what? Based off of the fact that your essence as a black woman, like, oh, I can't stand that bullshit. But this is how they will come off. And then they're totally blown away when it's like what they're doing, you're not attracted to, and then they'll scream colorism because you're looking at, some non-black woman that's in a dress with some black stockings and, and it is like feminine and shit. And they're like, you like that? Yeah. What's not to like? She's sexy. She's feminine. She looks girly. She's dolled herself up. Yeah, I'm a red-blooded male. Hell yeah, I like that shit. Hell yeah, I like the way she crosses her legs at the table. That shit turns me the fuck on. Makes me just want to rub her legs, rub her thighs. Hells yes. What you mean? Do I like that? Of course the fuck I do. Just like you like muscles on a nigga. Like I don't question that. I don't question you liking a tall nigga. I don't question you liking a dude that looks masculine. I don't question that. Why the fuck are you questioning me? Like you actually assume that I'm supposed to be into some butch ass, fucking bitch looking like Keisha Cole's sister? No, get the fuck out of here. Oh, but this is where we are. I mean, this is where we are. There is, where's the solution? There is no solution. Because, I mean, seriously speaking, like on paper, what would people say would be the solution? Black men need to do better. What does that mean? What does black men need to do better? Black men need to do better typically means they need to make more money, right? Black men need to work together, network, all that stuff, right? That's what it would mean. But what would that also mean? It would mean the reestablishment of what? A strong patriarchy. And when you got black women talking about the patriarchy, I don't know. I don't have a framework or a definition for this new paradigm. Voice is cracking like a motherfucker. This new paradigm that black women are trying to create, where they get patriarchal, structural, institutional benefits being produced by productive, driven, go-getter men that capitulate and then bendeth thy knee to black women. Like, I don't even know what that is. Oh, what is that? Wicker Man? What is that? Lichia from the Outer Limits? Like, what is that? You know, like a fucking island, just women ruling shit. What is that? And again, how do you keep men motivated in that shit? We just bust it wide open because all we got to do is lay on our backs and put our feet in the air. That's all we got to do. I'm like, pussy is not enough. It is entirely too much work to build, maintain, and defend the physical infrastructure. There's got to be more to it. There's got to be like you got the material, tangible part, and then you got like the higher calling part. But if you're if you're trying to remove all of that, I mean, what else is left? Again, just like the white boy that's breaking down, that broke the shit down. Like, what else is left? Like, y'all don't really seem to understand. Like, all I keep hearing on the internet is patriarchy is a system that's designed to benefit men. And it's amazing how women just say that and they throw that out there. I'm like, yeah, and patriarchy also is the system that talks about women and children first. And I gotta die and sacrifice I gotta go down with the ship. I gotta go down with the Titanic. I gotta put all of you on the lifeboat. How the fuck is that? That puts men first. See, y'all don't talk about that shit. All you want to, that puts men first. Like, patriarchy actually has an exchange to it. This fake ass, bullshit ass equality that y'all talking about, there's no exchange. There's no reciprocity. Your what you call equality is literally a matriarchy. And matriarchy doesn't do anything for men. Nothing. Like, y'all, like women will sit there and talk about, well, we give birth. We give you all birth. Bitch, if you're trying to have a kid, you can't sell that as a sacrifice to me. Like, that's not a sacrifice. You didn't make a sacrifice. You did not want to have a kid, but I recognize, oh, great Pete, that you want to have a kid, so I will sacrifice my body in order so that you can pass on your last name through my womb. Right? That would be a sacrifice. But if you want to have a child, don't be coming over here talking about, I ruined my body for you. Bitch, you wanted to have a fucking kid. I was watching some silly ass video of Colorism talk about coercion. And that's how I got pregnant. I was coerced because we were using the pull-out method. The pull-out method is a form of contraception, which they shouldn't even call it that because it's only 78% effective. Right? She tried to say that she was coerced. If he was coercing you, then his intent would have been to get you pregnant. It's not coercion if the intent is not like, oh, Colorism, I can't with her because she conflates shit intentionally. I'm just munkers, and she thinks she's making sense. I was coerced. Did you not want to have a child and then he wanted to have a child, or again, you both used the most ineffective means of contraception. And then you ended up getting pregnant because most likely he did pull out, but there was some pre-ejaculate, right? That's probably safe to say. But she tried to say that it was coercion. If the intent was not there to get you pregnant, there was no coercion. And again, when we look at the big picture, Colorism went off and had 3 more children. As far as we know, Maximine's father only has her. only has one child. So I believe the idea that he didn't want to have the kid, which is why he didn't have any more kids. And then he waited until his daughter was grown to get married. So, like, it's just like when you look at the bigger picture, it's like these women are so full of shit. They're so full of shit. And they just come online, just play the victim. I'm so tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. When you're sitting there and you're trying to genuinely listen to women's complaints and sit there and be like, okay, let's get to the bottom of this. What's on your mind? Tell me why you're mad. Tell me why you're mad. What's going on? Right? And they're throwing up all this shit. It all sounds legit. Sounds legit. You know what I mean? And then, yes, and there's so much dust in the room. It was like the movie The Mummy when the big cloud with the mummy face came over the horizon. That's how much dust was in the room. Yeah, but I mean, what happened with the 2-week vacation in the south of France? I heard you mention that. Like, why didn't you go on that? Oh, because I had better places to be. Wait a minute. If there's so much dust in the air and you come across a dude that's offering vacations, like, wouldn't it make more sense for you to go, right, and enjoy that and experience that? There's black women who will never experience a black man offering them a 2-week vacation anywhere. And you turn and you're so hellified that you can turn it down? Nah, fuck out of here. And then you had to go out there and go get the mystery sauce? Fuck out of here. Nah. These women are full of shit. I mean, just absolutely full of shit. And many of these conversations at this point, they're just circular. They're just circular. It's like watching reruns of Ricky Lake in the 90s, about some interracial dating, and the conversation has not evolved. It is not evolved. And these women, they got their nice little canned responses about, why they're, 38 and, haven't found anybody, and they're super successful and all this, and men are intimidated by my success and all this other shit. And it's like, and then you go and you look through their history, and it's like, wait a minute, you were dating this high-powered attorney I see, out there in Georgia. What happened with that relationship? Oh, I mean, well, you see, what had happened was, wait a minute. You were talking, ain't nobody on your level. Here you had a dude that was on your level. I'm just saying, can we get some details as to why that relationship fell apart? I'm saying you could get with a guy that's successful and y'all just not be compatible. But I'm saying I'm concerned about the fact that you omitted that relationship even took place. You so busy talking about dust and niggas in jail, right? These women, it's like the sisters that sit there and they talk about, oh, there's so much dust in the world. There's so much dust. But then you'll have black women in Houston talking about how the Nigerians are a problem, right? And we know that they're not dust, right? So wait. What happened with the Nigerian dude that was with you, right? That you were with? What happened with the Nigerian? Why didn't that go, and then they'll go into, he's a man whore and all this other shit, which he might be. He might be. He might not want to settle down. He might be on some do not date kata, right? He might be on that bullshit, right? But when these women run around and act like they're not out here interacting and dealing with successful black men, whether in the African American community or even not, right? I mean, even if they want to just single out, okay, you want to date Nigerian, okay, just date Nigerian. Why didn't that work? Guys, I got a sneaky suspicion that it was your attitude why that shit didn't work. You thought that you were going to go in there and do like I am Eloho. I treat men with money and broke men the same. I'm like, you think you're going to do that with a Nigerian? You're not going to do that with an African American. That ain't going to work. I treat men with money and men without money. I treat them the same. I'm not making that up. That is what I am Eloho actually said in her video. She actually said that. You think a man with money is going to tolerate you treating him like he's a broke dude. And why is she doing that? Because she doesn't want to recognize his position. She doesn't want to recognize his accomplishments or his achievements because it changes the dynamics in the relationship. You see? And that was before she went off and, got married. I haven't even been following what's going on with her. Right? And then you get a lot of these women that go out there and they get these little beta male type of relationships and then try to act like it ain't a simpuationship. Not situationship, a simpuationship. Yeah, I'm coining that right now. A simpuationship. Right? Wait, I gotta say it right. A simpulationship. Yeah, there you go. A simpulationship. That's what y'all be out here claiming. Those are real men. He's a real man because he's not intimidated by my success. And the thing is like, how successful are you if, again, you got to go out there like Patrice O'Neal's joke. You got to go out there and date lions and, not lions, sea lions and seals and freaking walruses and penguins and tuna, right? You're out here dating your food, right? In order to show how hellified you are. And again, this goes back into, hell, Chrissy mentioned it in one of her videos talking about Keke Palmer with her dude. These women who they don't like to date. Again, Steve Harvey was like, hey, I'm going to hook you up, Keke. You only be dating down. Steve Harvey, I got you. I'm going to hook you up. Hook. Right? I'm going to hook you up. And, she went the path that she went. And what does it come down to? It comes down to there's a lot of black women out here that they don't like dating men that are ahead of them because it takes away from the brightness of their light. They want to be the star in the relationship, which is antithetical to women who claim that they want to date up and date hypergamously. You can't be in a hypergamous relationship and be the fucking star of the relationship. It doesn't work that way. Like it makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's like you're trying to work for a company and a company hires you and then instead of the company paying you, you pay the company. Huh? It doesn't make any sense. But this is how you all try to conduct your relationships. And then you'll come online and woe is the black man. It's just nothing out here but dust. Nah. See, y'all have talked entirely too much. You all have shared entirely too much. That to the point where, we now it's like, we can put all the pieces together. It's like, she said this, and then you wait, a couple months, then the chick's saying something else, and then you're like, wait a minute. It's like that clip with the Aisha K. Faines when Carl, checked her, RIP to Aisha K. Faines, but when Carl was like, well, it sounds to me like you need to date a subordinate man. I don't date nothing but successful men. How dare you? She caught an attitude. She snapped at the shit. But then there's the video of her where she says, I feel uncomfortable in a salsa dance because even though I love salsa, because I got to let the man take the lead. And then this is the same woman that had the website, Women Love Power. But when Carl was like, well, it sounds to me you like you need to date subordinate men. I don't date nothing but powerful men. I don't date nothing but successful men. That's simply not true. And if you do date, if she did, past tense, date successful men, chances are she undermined those relationships. This goes directly back, to cat food. I had a loving and benevolent relationship, What I wouldn't do on that nigga say so. You know what I mean? Like damn. Why he gotta be a nigga? You know what I mean? I know a man who built his queen a house. Right? And let all her motherfuckers move in. I don't even know what that meant. What do you mean all her motherfuckers moved in? All her kids that she had, man built her a house and then all her kids moved in? Is that literally what you're saying? Because that reinforces what the fuck I'm saying throughout this video. You know, and then at the end, I mean, just the crescendo, you know what I mean? Freaking, in all matriarchies, the woman gives him his kingship. Captain Solo was like, oh, let me acknowledge what you just said. Let me acknowledge what you just said. See, you done put your foot in your mouth now. And I mean, she said that shit so confidently. In all matriarchies, the woman gives him his kingship. And even that other woman, that other show that Captain Solo was on the line, you know, that talking about feeding 12 people with an egg. You know, just go in my video history and you'll see it. That's feeding 12 people with an egg, where that woman sat there and said, what the fuck did she say? She said, damn, I'm losing my train of thought. No, where she was like, no, actually, I don't know if it was that video. I think it was that video. But she was like, if a man can build a better house than me, then I'll eat my hat. And I remember when Cat was texting me as we were on the Blog Talk Radio show. That motherfucker was going off. He was like, and she will be eating her hat. I remember that shit. That shit was funny as fuck. And she will be eating her hat. A black man can't do anything without the strength of a black woman. You know what I mean? Black women are building houses. We don't do nothing but build. Have you looked at the black community lately? We don't do nothing but build. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The way that they just say shit they say it with their chest. You know what I'm saying? They say it with such confidence. And the black community is all fucked up. We don't do nothing but build, nooka. You know what I mean? Like on some stink meaner shit. Like, you like, damn. You know, and you just sitting there like, where I don't know where they get the confidence. I don't know where they get the idea. These baseless, it's not based in anything. And this is the destructive nature of boys being raised by black women that have these sort of delusional mindsets. Because this goes right into what Catherine Eden was talking about with, the boys being raised by women, and where you have these situations where, they don't get any, or actually that's what I said, not what Catherine Eden said, but it goes into the points that she was making, where, $20, or what would you say, working at McDonald's, part-time, is good enough to be a boyfriend, but it makes you a terrible father, right? Because you need more resources to be a father. To be a boyfriend, take her out on a couple dates, hang out with her, you watch some movies, you fuck her. All that's cool. You can do that, right? But as a husband, as a father, not even a husband, a father, now you got to pay for diapers, you dropping gas money. You got to do all this parental shit, daycare, all this stuff. Working at McDonald's part-time ain't going to cut it. Now, all of a sudden, you fall into the dust category. And one of the things that I picked up from Catherine Eden is the fact that when it comes to young men that are raised by women, one of the most detrimental things that happen is that women, a lot of times, they do that. I'm a 10, right? They just speak shit into existence. Men cannot operate like that, because men are measured by what they do. Men are measured by reality. They're not measured by feelings. But if you get a boy that's raised by women and then he starts subscribing to the idea that his feelings are more important than what he's actually accomplished and achieved, that's why many of these young men are very angry and they feel betrayed by their own mothers when they go out there into the real world and everything that the mother told them, it doesn't pan out. It doesn't hold up. And so now he's underprepared, and he's being judged, for being underprepared. And that creates a lot of anger and a lot of resentment, because he's up there thinking, yeah, well, I mean, just like that guy that Kat was arguing with on that Don Nicoleon show, where he was talking about, I don't actually know. It wasn't Kat. It was Kevin Samuels when that dude called in talking about, yeah, but Kevin, I'm a high value man because I serve the Most High. That's the type of shit that you get from fucking women, where your religious affiliation, all that stuff, she's, you're beautiful on the inside, that type of talking point. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, all these sort of things that make an actual objective standard vague and nebulous. See, women can function in that space. Men cannot. Men cannot. You either have it or you don't. You either make X or you don't. You either can or are capable of doing this or you're not. It's very definitive and finite, right? You either have money or you don't. That's finite. But when it comes to women, oh girl, you don't look fat in that dress. Oh girl, you all right. You look good, girl. Oh my God, girl, if I was with you, you are just such a catch. Any man that doesn't want to be with you, he just gotta be, he's gotta be out of his mind. Either that or blind, girl. Right? That's what y'all do. Right? Men, no. Men is, if you're not here, you fail. If you're not here, you suck. You're a loser. That's really what the main importance for a father being in the home is. He's got to be able to be the counterbalance to all the fucking bullshit that women will say to other women and girls, which is fine because women and girls are not building and maintaining the physical infrastructure. The boys are. So the women can think all that magical bullshit. But when you got boys thinking like that, then you throw on trying to turn black men into sex objects, which is what the system of white supremacy loves to do. It tries to role reverse shit. Oh, black women, you're so strong and independent. Oh, let's make sure that Keisha gets the interview, right? And then turn Jamal into a mandingo, strapping, a freaking buck, right? Nah, once your community is role reversed, you're done. You're done. And black women that y'all don't get it. I can put this video out here and it just go into the void. And many of you all listening to this video, y'all gonna be all up in your feelings. Fuck SWP. Y'all can say that. And there are no lies detected in this video. Who's messaging me? That's not a message. Oh, let's see what that comment says. Anyway, I'm going to end this video because I want to read this comment. That's my video, SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.